there is some concern that could go away if we don't do something.
As a former military pilot, Bill Erkeline holds a soft spot for one hardened veteran of World War I.
You can imagine having to push the airplane out of the hangar to get it up to start up. In those days, you had to crank it too, so it's a whole different ball game.
Hangar 9 at Brooks City Base is the only remaining wooden hangar of its kind still standing in the nation. There were once dozens of hangars just like this across the country that could hold 8 of the old Jenny biplanes. There were once 16 hangars just at Brooks, set up in a very unique way.
If you look down at Brooks, you would see this crescent-shaped road structure. And I looked at photos of other World War I fields, and I was never able to see that anywhere but Brooks. So for some reason, when they put the hangars in here, they put them in almost kind of a semicircle arc, if you will. And I can't find it anywhere else.
Which kind of makes sense when you consider all the firsts at Brooks in aerospace medicine, in aerospace engineering.
This is where instrument flying began. The need was recognized a little before that out in Crissy Field in California, but the person who made that discovery was assigned to Brooks Field, and he came here, and with the help of a guy named Carl Crane, who was a local San Antonio pilot who was also in the Air Corps at that time, they got together and formed a device out of a Ruggles orientator, which would eventually become a flight simulator. So they could get in this thing, pull a bag over their head, and actually practice flying instruments, which they knew was needed, although a lot of their contemporaries and peers didn't want to bother with instruments.
And one very symbolic last. Brooks is the final resting place of Sidney Brooks, considered San Antonio's first casualty of World War I. When this was Brooks Air Force Base, it was the only military installation to have its namesake buried on the property, just about 20 yards away from Hangar 9.
As far as we know, we've done a little checking on it, but as far as we know, he's here.
But Erkeline says that is now the problem. With the military gone from Brooks, there is no specific long-term caretaker for Hangar 9. So a group of former pilots known as the Stinson's Flight are at least starting the process. One they say could be long and costly, but worth every effort in the end.
We've lost a lot about the military, so these are the remnants of what happens when the BRAC happens, cutbacks happen, and so I think there needs to be an effort to try to save some of this rich history that we have.